Racing has always been a proving ground for new automotive technology. The fierce competition in motorsports breeds new ideas, and the cutting-edge technology developed there often trickles down to the products we drive on the street. Extreme Performance summer tires utilize many of the technologies developed in racing competition, and with each new tire introduced, their performance continues to evolve closer to the level provided by true motorsports tires. The BF Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5 is an adaptation of its predecessor, the G-Force Rival S. Utilizing the same tread pattern, compound, and construction materials, the G-Force Rival S 1.5 features a revised assembly process with the goal of improved steering response compared to the original version. The Hankook Ventus RS4 is a clean sheet design that evolved from the Ventus RS3. Its internal construction is focused on handling response and durability, and its high grip tread compound and expansive shoulders generate the lateral forces needed for high-speed cornering. The Nexen Enfera SUR4G maintains the same internal construction as its predecessor, the Enfera SUR4, but features a slightly modified tread pattern and a new compound designed to improve wet and dry performance, in addition to coming up to temperature faster. Bridgestone's Potenza RE71R is the longtime benchmark in the category, so to see if the newest additions have evolved beyond the current standard, we gathered all 4 tires for a full comparison. Let's see what we found out. Extreme Performance summer tires have become the default choice for autocross events, SCCA track night in America, time trial, or grassroots endurance racing. And the Bridgestone Potenza RE71R has been the alpha dog in terms of outright speed for the last few years. The new releases in this test have closed the gap as far as lap times are concerned, and with only 0.15 of a second difference from the slowest to the fastest average lap times across the group, what's ultimately fastest for you is likely to come down to personal preference or driving style or vehicle setup. The first tire I'm driving is the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5. This tire puts the power down very well and has strong lateral grip, but does have a slight tendency to understeer if you carry too much speed into a turn. The rapid transitional response and the light and eager steering feel to this tire means that it really just dances through the slalom. Now I'm driving the Bridgestone Potenza RE71R. The steering on this tire is about as close to ideal as you can get. It has the perfect amount of resistance and it's immediately responsive and millimeter precise. This tire really is the complete package. It communicates well and it's balanced. It brakes with authority and effectively puts the power down on the way out. Now I'm driving the Hankook Ventus RS4. This tire just puts it all together for fast lap times. It feels like its outright abilities aren't quite as high as the Bridgestone or the BFG, so it doesn't feel as fast, but it really just puts it all together for quick lap times. Now I'm driving the Nexen Enfera SUR4G. This tire just has great grip, whether you're asking it to accelerate, brake, or change directions. The steering feel of this tire probably generated the most comments of anything in this test. It creates this strange disconnect between the front and the rear axles, so it feels like it takes just a moment for the rear end to respond after the front end is turned in. It set the fastest dry slalom time in this test though, so obviously it gets the job done. On our wet track, the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5 had something of a dual personality. It had strong wet grip when the surface was merely damp, but even small amounts of standing water could cause the tire to hydroplane, which made it difficult to build driver confidence. The Bridgestone Potenza RE71R once again delivered an impressive performance in the wet. Though we didn't perform a side-by-side comparison, anecdotally its performance approached some of the best max performance summer tires. It's important to remember though that hydroplaning resistance is not a component of our testing, and deeper water or higher speeds would pose a greater challenge for the low void tread patterns of Extreme Performance tires. The Hankook Ventus RS4 trailed the rest of the group in wet testing. Its limits were lower than the others and was somewhat edgy when pushed, which made it easy to ask too much on the track. The wet performance of the Nexen Enfera SUR4G was a pleasant surprise. Strong front-end traction meant it changed directions with authority, and its impressive lateral grip kept it planted through turns. The steering felt rather vague in the wet, and it wasn't quite as easy to drive as the Bridgestone, but overall it impressed our team. The first tire I'm driving for the road ride portion of the test is the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5. This tire has a nice direct and linear steering feel. It's a little light on center and doesn't offer a whole lot of resistance, so every now and then it can feel twitchy. It's definitely loud, but it's not that bad for the category, and it's firm almost to the point that it feels overinflated. Now I'm driving the Bridgestone Potenza RE71R. The steering feel and light handling of this tire are exceptionally good. It's ideally weighted and naturally linear and just kind of feels like an extension of your body. The ride is firm over bumps of all sizes, and the tread creates a variety of intrusive noises over multiple surfaces. The next tire I'm driving is the Hankook Ventus RS4. The light handling and steering feel of this tire are very sporty and performance focused, but it's just not quite as nice as the best in this test. The steering feel is a little unnatural in that it's very light on center, but then it ramps up quite a bit with more input, so it's easy to get a little bit more steering than you asked for. The tread creates a high-pitched whirring sound, and it's very firm, but of this group it actually does the best job of isolating small imperfections. To round out the group, I'm driving the Nexen Enfera SUR4G. The road noise from this tire sounds something like a bad wheel bearing or like an off-road tire. Also, it's stiff, but it's not as well controlled as the other tires in this test, so it continues to reverberate a little bit after big bumps. The steering feel isn't exactly what we would expect from an extreme performance summer tire. There's a notable delay between when you turn the steering wheel and when the entire vehicle responds, so it gives it something of a rubbery feel. Motorsports technology evolves rapidly, and since extreme performance summer tires are the street tires most closely related to race tires, they're the first to benefit from trickle-down technology. So each round of new tires in the category brings with it new strategies in the pursuit of the fastest lap. Bridgestone's Potenza RE71R is an amazing package on the track. It has incredible grip, precise handling, and excellent balance. Its steering response and light handling on the road are second to none, but ride and noise quality leave much to be desired. The BF Goodrich G-Force Rival S 1.5 is the dry track champion in this test, with just a slight tendency toward understeer mitigated by responsive handling and great lateral grip. Its on-road manners are acceptable and has a tendency to hydroplane in standing water. The Nexen Enfera SUR4G is a strong performer in the dry or the wet, and its outright capabilities are competitive with the best in the category. The steering response creates a slight disconnect between the vehicle's front and rear axles, and the tread pattern creates an intrusive sound reminiscent of an off-road tire. Hankook's Ventus RS4 wears remarkably well, even while setting lap times just behind the front of the pack, though it struggles somewhat in the wet and is loud and firm on the road. As we compare tires side by side, we find each one has its own personality, and it's not as easy as simply choosing between good and bad. So as you view our test results, it's important to focus on your priorities and what fits best with how, where, and what you drive. And also be sure to go to TireRack.com to view our full test report and to learn more about the tires featured in this test.